The Orlando Magic got to add Jalen Suggs this summer in the draft to a plethora of young guards that they have now added on this team. And I want to talk about what I think Jalen Suggs could do for this Orlando team in this upcoming season, as well as down the road long term, and where his fit is in this team as far as a playstyle standpoint, and how he will fit in with the multitude of guards that they have in this team moving forward. So that being said, get right into it. Now, many will remember Jalen Suggs for the big shot he hit in the NCAA March Madness tournament with Gonzaga, and rightfully so. It was a pretty darn good highlight and a pretty darn good shot. But it's also worth noting that Jalen Suggs did jump up a lot of draft boards when that pick did happen, and that's not to take anything away from Jalen Suggs, but he was ranked much higher than top 3, top 4, top 5 before that shot was made. He was still a top 7, top 8 prospect, but he definitely wasn't as high. But he did have a good NCAA tournament, there's no doubt about that, and he is still a very good prospect. This is not to take anything away from Jalen Suggs. I think Orlando were very, very happy to get him at number 5, and quite frankly, a very good pickup at number 5. They were probably expecting to have Scotty Barnes fall to them, or at least that would have been the general consensus from the media. Jalen Suggs falls to them, and they add another good young guard to their team. But what is Jalen Suggs going to bring to Orlando? I think Jalen Suggs is going to be a good defensive and playmaking point guard. That's not to take away from his scoring ability. I still think he's going to be a very good scorer as well, but I think he is going to be more of a traditional point guard in his best assets, in that sense that he is going to be a fairly good playmaker, and he is going to be fairly good on the defensive end, especially given the fact he is 6'4", 205 pounds. Now, that being said, given the backlog in Orlando of guards and the fact he is 6'4", it is possible he ends up defending shooting guards. And so that will make him a little bit less valuable on the defensive end, sure, because there will be a little bit more of a size differential. But I think still he can be a solid defensive player. This is someone who averaged about 1.9 steals per game last year with Gonzaga at 4.5 assists. And it is, of course, worth mentioning that Gonzaga do play in a bit of a weaker conference. But nonetheless, these are still solid stats, and I think something that truly does reflect what he is good at in his game and what could potentially translate to the NBA level. He's going to be a good playmaker. He's going to be a good defensive guard. I think those are things that we will see translate throughout the next few years in Jalen Suggs' career. His three-point shooting definitely isn't amazing. He shot about 3.5 threes a game last season in college and made 33.7%. I think it's something he'll continue to keep working on and try and improve. But as I mentioned, I think his true strengths are going to be defense, playmaking, attacking, getting to the rim, finishing at the rim. He's definitely going to work on creating his own shot and hitting more threes, and he's not bad at it by any stretch, and he's not unwilling to do it. He was very efficient from 2 last year, shooting 58.8%. He's efficient with what he does. It was the three-point shooting that really hurt him. The 2-point shots were very efficient for him, getting to the rim, a bit of a mid-range game. That he is very good at, and I don't have any doubts that he will continue to improve the scoring facets of his game. But I think it's worth noting that his biggest strengths, as far as I'm concerned, I think will be defense, especially if he plays at a true point guard spot, as well as his playmaking ability. Someone who really is a true point guard in that sense. And I think he's going to be a very good player for Orlando. Do I think he's going to come out and challenge for Rookie of the Year next year? No, quite frankly, I don't think so. Pretty much solely because Orlando just have too many young guards to play. And that's not a knock against Jalen Suggs. It's just the fact that they have 4 young guards on their team. They have to give minutes to them somehow because they kind of want to develop them all, and they don't want to just let one go by the wayside. So otherwise, they probably would have been talking about making a trade by now, and I don't think that's the case. So I think Jalen Suggs is still going to get a fairly regular, consistent amount of minutes, 25 to 30 a night, I would expect. But I don't think he's going to be in as significant of a role as the likes of Cade, Jalen. But I think he's still going to be fairly impactful for Orlando. Will probably be one of their top 3 or so scorers, and I would expect will lead them in assists as well, if not very close to the top of that. And it's just going to be interesting to see how he adjusts and how he improves his three-point shooting, most notably for the offensive end. And I think he's a very exciting prospect, someone where the Orlando Magic could have a future all-star point guard in their hands here with Jalen Suggs. I'm very excited to see how his development plays out for the next few years. That being said, that is my thoughts on Jalen Suggs with his fit with the Orlando Magic and what he could potentially do next year and through the next few years with them. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And if you want to hear my thoughts on other rookies coming into the league, and how I think they can do in year one and moving forward. And be sure to click the box on the right-hand side of the screen and hit that subscribe button below to continue to hear my thoughts on more rookies and some other players in the league and what I think they could do next season. That being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one.